Welcome to the Rewards Master Live. Good to have everybody here that's here so far. Looks like we have Dem. Hey, Dem. Good to have you. Good afternoon, he says. Good afternoon back. Nurican, Dem, good afternoon to all. Number 2 here. All right. Number 2. That's still really early on. And Brown Crayon. Okay.
Oh,
Brown
okay.
Crayon. Cool name.
I actually have not
Happy
seen brown crayon around here. Nice.
What'd you say, Travis?
I've not seen brown crayon before. Is he part of your?
No, I think that. Are you new? Are you new, Crayon? We'll call you Crayon.
Yes, sir.
All right. The Pingiple. Hello, rewards maximizers.
Hello.
That's us. That's what we're all about. And Kale Mary, yo. We got Coder. Coder's
Hey,
here.
Coder.
Says afternoon. James in Arizona. Good afternoon, everybody. And Mike Newland. Hey,
What's up,
everyone.
Mike?
And Boone Carter, Rewards Master streaming. Let's go. Hey, Boone. Good to have you here. Okay, now the first thing I got to say before I do anything else is this video is brought to you by Silo. I'm just kidding. It's I don't do sponsors. You guys know that. I'm just messing with everybody. But I do have my good buddy, my YouTube friend, Mr. Travis White here. My opposites, but the same. We are different, but same. I guess that's what we could say. Because we like many of the same things. We love the same ecosystems with the exception of that ridiculous Wells Fargo one. But besides that, we love City. We love Built together. But we fly on opposite ends of the plane. And opposite ends of the city are the hotels we stay in. So that's kind of our MO. Isn't that right, Travis?
If anybody's not familiar, I'm in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
He's in the he's up in coach. Yeah, in the front seat. That's for sure.
Yeah, Coach. It's funny because I just booked Philippine Airlines. You know, I was having trouble. We're going this fall to Hong Kong, and I have not been able to find Nona anything in the front. So Alaska dumped a whole bunch of availability on Philippine Airlines.
That. Yeah.
So I bought two one ways from LA to Hong Kong, 110,000 each. I know you can get 75,000, but I don't think you can get it past Manila. So we flew to Manila and then on 110,000. That's not the best redemption I've ever had, but it is in the front. So whatever. But it's wild because when I booked it on Alaska, it said, you know, in my confirmation, coach. Yeah, that ain't good. I mean, that ain't what I booked.
Interesting. Whatever I said it earlier, I had to correct myself. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. But then when I put the confirmation into Philippine Airlines app, it says business class. So I guess I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, it says business on the actual airline that I'm flying. So, but isn't that weird? I mean, that's kind of a glitchy thing.
You know what's funny? Well, outside of that, number one, I assume that you're in business class. I don't think you have much to worry about. But I will say the last time I was flying Philippine Airlines, I'm going to be interested to see what you think about their actual product. Because, and keep in mind, I was in economy, no shocker there, but I was not impressed. Even as an economy flyer, I was not impressed with their metal. So I'll be interested to see, like, is their business class any better? We'll see.
I don't think it looks very good. I mean, Nona watched a video and she wasn't very excited. So here I try to get white points and get a win, and I still don't got a win. So it is what it is. But at least it's in the front. At least it's in the front.
That's true.
So, you know, we'll see how it is. But okay, so before we get started, this video is sponsored by Frontier Airlines, my favorite airlines in the world. No, I'm kidding again. And I only said that one because Mr. Mike Newland, the man, the myth, the legend, says no REM sponsored by Greyhound. So no, not sponsored by Greyhound either. Not sponsored by any of the hotel brands that Travis loves, right, Travis?
No, you don't love Choice Hotels.
No, this video is not sponsored by Choice Hotels.
I mean, come on, man. Their marketing budget's huge. You got to take advantage of that.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. I'll get some more comments in just a minute. But just to tell y'all what we're doing today, Travis had a live with our mutual friend, Anthony Venture, the other day. And they were supposed to talk about the topic that we're going to discuss today, but somehow it got derailed because so many people were hating on my good buddy because of his travel style. Is that kind of a good assessment of what that was?
If any of you guys didn't get to watch that live, basically the intent was to do what we're doing today, which, by the way, he's going to get to it. I think there's a little bit of miscommunication between RM and I. He kind of has he has biggest mistakes. I have learning lessons. So they're relatively similar, but not the same. But nonetheless,
well, I learned from all of my mistakes, so they kind of are the same.
Which is just as valuable. Just as valuable. But point is that this was supposed to be the topic of that live, but I guess Anthony had not gotten too far into a ton of the videos where I talked about my economy traveler, and he was so perplexed as to why I travel with the poors that we got stuck on talking about that for basically the entire hour that we were live. So we figured let's recycle the topic.
The poors.
Yeah.
Poors.
So hey, it's an opportunity for RM and I to take advantage of it. So
yeah, hey. Yeah, I watched some of that live, and it was actually I was in there for a while, and yeah, it was like this is I don't think this is the original topic, but
no,
it's easy to chase rabbits and get sidetracked on these things. So I get it.
Yep.
All right, couple quick comments here. Sleepy Rod's here. Hey, Sleepy Rod, good to have you. Why hasn't Built dropped a good transfer bonus in a while? I think that's intentional. I don't know. I want to hear what Travis has to think about this, but I think it's intentional. I think to keep keep it sustainable. I think they're doing them periodically, like maybe every 3 or 4 months. They always did that before too. Remember, they didn't have good ones before for several months back under 1.0, and then they drop a good one, and then the others. But of course, they're going to act like all of them are good. I mean, that's what you got to act like. So that's my theory as to why it's happening that way. I honestly don't even expect it after a good one. If they have a good Virgin Atlantic big one, or if I suspect Air France will come around again. KLM Air France. After that one, I wouldn't expect another one for 3 or 4 months. I mean, they're going to be.
I agree. And I think as we go along, you're going to see more and more bonuses. They're a lot like what you see from the other providers at like 30, 40%, somewhere around there. Like, so a little bit higher, but not that much higher than everybody else. And my theory is the same. I'm sure that everybody saw, and in case you didn't see it, Built had added, I prefer a 1-to-2 ratio, which is number one, not very unique, but number two, typically historically, you could pretty confidently say, okay, they added a partner, exactly what the transfer bonus is going to be during the upcoming rent day. And you notice that we've now had two transfer bonuses that had nothing to do with that, and both of which were pretty subpar. With this recent one, I actually posted a short about it. If you were platinum status, actually, there was a pretty interesting opportunity there, but I'm not going to bore you all with that. And the other thing that I'm wondering, and this is where I think Ara and I sort of disagree. I think that he thinks that they might have a sustainable business model. I continue to think, I don't believe it. And actually, I went onto their job board recently, and you can tell what their priority is based on who they're hiring. And there are so many job opportunities for extending their network. I think that they probably see their network as the way that they will eventually reach profitability, or at least the way that they hope to reach profitability. I don't know.
I do think it's sustainable.
That is interesting.
Because they have achieved what every credit card company wants and most can't get. And that is to get people to want to spend on the card.
That's true. But what if I told you debate time?
Debate time, baby. Yes, debate time. Go.
If you pay me $1, I will give you $1.20 back. How much are you spending with me?
If you pay me $1, okay. Am I paying you $1 or are you paying me $1?
Yes, you are paying me $1, but then in return, I'm going to give you $1.20 back in value. I think that they are running on, they're doing what most startups do, which is they're running on VC money, giving away insane amounts of value. Actually, just today, I looked up.
But you're missing, I got to say, you're missing it. Okay. So
continue.
But if you said,
mm-hmm.
If you give me $1, I'll give you $1.20 back. But you've got an arrangement with McDonald's because they're hoping to sell me a Happy Meal. And so we meet at McDonald's, and that's the only place we can exchange the dollar for $1.20. And then McDonald's is paying you 30 cents to get me in there. Then that's profitable.
That's a very good rebuttal. I guess my debate there is that how much are they making off of that McDonald's commission? And my guess is that McDonald's commission is going to be less than that 20 cents that I'm losing on that transaction. But who knows? You might be right. You might be right. I just have a hard time imagining it.
I mean, they have such a different model than everybody else because of the built dining and all of that. And so that's the thing. If they are going to be sustainable, it's because they've got their fingers in so many pies. Yeah, and they're getting just a little bit from every single one of those pies. And so I understand what your illustration was. And yes, if they're just giving more back than you're giving them, period. And they are giving more back than that swipe fee. They are. I mean, just the 4% get bill cash, if you're using it right, is more than they're getting in swipe fees because they're getting 2.5 to 3% probably in swipe fees. But here's the thing. What are they making on all of those restaurant transactions? What are they making on, I mean, I don't know. What are they getting from United Wholesale Mortgage on those? We don't know. And so
we don't, and you know, what's funny is at some point, I actually do want to like whip up together like a, just a rough draft model. We would have to guess on a lot of numbers just to kind of figure out, okay, how much do we think that we're making on this stuff? Because I bet you a huge amount of the money that they're making, and I don't know how their model works fully, but I'm assuming that a lot of the apartments that are in the Built network, and I've seen many of them around Austin, they even have like a Built logo, that they're getting commissions on the people that are paying rent through Built. But the question is, okay, how much are they making on that versus how much people are actually spending on their cards and they're losing it? Because even today, it's just mind blowing to me. I'm spending on the card, and unlike you, I'm not a business class traveler. So the idea of locking in the 4% in cash back within the ecosystem is very attractive. So today, I just booked a hotel in a rural part of Korea, and I booked it. It was for 2 nights, $142, and I used my $100 Built credit from Built Cash. Meaning I officially on $100 locked in 4% cash back and 2% back in Built points. That's just, and I continue to do that. I've done that.
Staying in a hotel that's $71 a night? Travis. I hope you're taking mosquito nets and off.
What's funny is I will share my screen of it. Eventually, I'll share my screen and show you all the places that I stay because I think that y'all will be surprised by these numbers. But it's definitely not a fancy place. But nonetheless, I just cannot believe it. Like I just could not imagine how that would be profitable.
Your sweet wife loves you so much.
I got so lucky.
She loves you so much because you drag her to $71 rooms in the third world. I mean, that is.
You would be surprised. It's interesting. Korea is one of those places where you'd think that it would be, especially based on Seoul. Seoul is very expensive. But once you get outside of Seoul, Korea can have some pretty affordable areas.
When I go to Korea, my work has an apartment, so I always stay there. So I've never actually booked a room in Korea.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Seoul was really expensive.
But the apartment's so cool. The floors are heated. It's really cool. I mean, I think that's a common thing in Korea. So
for some reason, I don't think that my $72 a night hotel is going to have heated floors. It's just an instinct.
It may not have clean floors.
You never know. We'll come back and I'll have my wife review it.
Okay. All right. Coder, pretty sure Travis doesn't stay in the same zip code as you, much less the same hotel. Yeah. Maybe not. AS1234 says, hello, everyone. Good to have you here, AS.
Hello.
Sleepy Rod, first world problems. My business class isn't so businessy.
It's so true. He's referring to when we were talking about
it's a first world problem for sure. For sure. I paid my dues, though. I've done many, for work especially, many international coach economy trips. I mean, so
Mhm.
paid my dues. Dim says you'll have lie flat, bring some bug spray, sanitizer, holy water, and inflatable neck pillow, and you'll be fine. So you're saying this is a Travis business class?
You know what's funny is during y'all's last live, I think it was Dem that made the joke. Because I brought up the inflatable pillow, and he said something along the lines of, that's because the airlines he's flying don't allow it like a carry-on bag. That was actually partially true. Don't get me wrong, not totally true. I'm flying like a Alaska, American stuff where I have a checked bag, but my logic is still that I do not want a real pillow, because if it's the blow up one, it's just more room in my bag in case I want to buy something when I'm in the country or whatever. So yeah, that's why I have the blow up.
All right. Nick says, Dem, when I saw inflatable, my mind wasn't expecting to see neck pillow. Okay. We won't dig into that one. Dem's giggling at it. Dem says, thanks for the Discord. All right. Nick is amused. Dem says, I'll take a core platinum status. I don't know. I haven't stayed in a core. Have you, Travis?
I have not, but actually, well, then on that topic, what I had pointed out was that a core, I don't know, did you see that short, Rewards Master, about platinum status? That you could
pretty much watch all your stuff, so yeah.
Yeah. You could translate that through some indirect way into getting Guitar Gold, which then gets One World Sapphire. But there was a major catch to that, which is there's a cap on how many matches they allow, and there was no way to find out what that cap was at. Meaning, it could have been completely taken up. I just don't know.
Yeah. All right, Travis, you're such a good sport. Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
I mean, we couldn't do this if we had different personalities. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's why it's fun. Dem says, I'll also take an uncapped 30% Avios with Amex to build 100% at 100,000 K cap. Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, depending on how many points you got, that could be true.
Mm-hmm.
Could be true. Damn, credit cards are a pimple on Built's balance sheet. That's my point, is that I think it's like, for instance, Chase. Chase lost millions and tens, if not hundreds of millions on their original, manifestation of their reserve card, right? Mm-hmm. Remember that? They lost millions. They didn't, because to Chase, it's nothing. I mean, Chase is the largest
you are
bank,
talking
I guess,
about
in the world.
Chase, though. I mean, you're talking about one of the biggest mortgage providers on the planet. I mean, they're literally the biggest bank on the planet. Built, I'm not gonna lie, damn, I think I might disagree with you, man. I don't think it's a pimple on.
Be
Built.
careful, Dim's a banker. He knows that.
I don't, and I can tell by his previous comment that he's a savvy businessman. I disagree.
Dim used to work for Citi.
Really? Yeah. No way. I figured he was a pretty successful guy.
Tell me if I'm right, Dim, but I'm almost certain that's true. Kale Mary, that's called venture capital runway.
That's what I think that they're running on. My instinct is that their balance sheet, a huge portion of their P&L on the L side is coming from these credit cards. I don't know. We'll see.
SJDP says what Travis is saying is they lose with every sale, but make up on the volume. I think that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah.
And Travis is spot on. Okay. Well, I don't like people agreeing with Travis, but the Accor bonus might have been meh, but the rent day bonus where Built sends your account to collections for no reason was very outside the box.
That was crazy.
Good for long-term sustainability and creditability. Yeah, I guess so. K-State Nate's here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Nate. Waiting for the Built Palladium 100% Alaska bonus. You might be waiting a while.
Me and you, man. I'm up. Yeah.
I think we're going to be waiting on that one. I hear Pyongyang, North Korea, is pretty affordable.
You know what's funny?
North Korea would be pretty affordable. I would think so.
You get a free tour guide.
You know what was crazy? When I was standing last time I was in Korea, I was standing at the DMZ and looking across, to North Korea.
Mhm.
And the guy who was there, who was kind of, he drove me around and works, with me and all that. He was saying, he's Korean, and he was saying that North Korea uses less natural gas, oil, fuel, diesel, all that in 1 year than South Korea uses in 1 day.
That does not surprise me at all. The only catch with all that is, and I believe it. Let me clarify that. The only catch with all that is the amount of information that is actually coming out of North Korea is very limited. But I'm going to guess that they can base that on purely like the light emission from satellite view. Is I'm going to guess how they calculate that out. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. 521 Taipei says, you guys forget pretty fast how much money Built lost for Wells Fargo. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I have a retort to this. So, yes, that's true, but they lost it under a system where you could buy 5 bananas and pay your rent.
That's fair. That's fair.
$4,000. I mean, now, yes, you can get points on your rent, but you got to be putting some real spend on those cards. I mean, that's why people hate 2.0, because they're all the people that were gaming 1.0. I mean, that's just.
I think, very fair point, Bob. But I will say, I think under 1.0, the spend was more profitable than spend with 2.0.
For them or for us?
No. For them, I think that the actual spend, even though, in the scenario where it's just 5 bananas, obviously it doesn't matter what your profit margin is.
Okay. But I would be curious, some of the higher spenders on here, Dem, Mike Newland, some of those guys, let me know. But let me tell you, I had a Built 1.0 card, and I put, a few $100s on the first of the month on that card. And that's
100%.
No, now I put thousands of dollars on that card. And I think you multiply that by thousands of card holders. That's a big difference, because there was no benefit to me before to put money on the card. But now there's benefit to put money on the card.
Oh, everything that you just said, I totally agree with. My point is that, like, yes, they were getting way less volume with 1.0, and now they're getting significantly more volume. But I think the reason they're getting significantly more volume is, dude, I mean, like, when you can get 4% cash back and 2x Built points, why would you not put all of your? Why would you not do that? I mean,
4x Built cash back, if you want to call it cash back.
Yes, or
4.3 or more X.
Exactly. Exactly. Why would you not? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Gentleman Explorer, he gifts $1.99 and says it's for Travis's Waldorf Fund. There you go, Travis.
Celebrate.
Yeah. We don't even need to try to do a Dude Graz. My imitation of him fell very flat when I've tried. Crossfire says, wonder how many Motel 6s Travis has stayed in his lifetime. Maybe not as many as, because when my kids were little, we were poor, and we stayed in a lot of Motel 6s. So I might have you beat on that.
Horrific story with, if anybody, hey, this is supposed to be entertainment. Maybe this is not staying on track. I've only stayed in a Motel 6 one time, and it was after a horrible breakup. Horrible breakup. I needed a different place, so I hopped in a Hotel 6. I stayed in this Motel 6 for, 5 days. And number one, the whole room smelled like smoke. It was disgusting in there. And next door, I kid you not, there was a homeless guy that I befriended, and he would play golf out of that empty lot. And he'd be like chunking balls into the highway.
Into the highway. Well, 1, that's the answer. Travis has stayed at 1. I don't believe that Built makes money on its credit cards. I think their income and future is based on selling a customer network through its neighborhood connections. That's exactly my point.
Yes.
I think their cards are a loss leader. That's what you call that. They're a loss leader.
Yes. And I think that's where, like, just so in case anybody's not following, I think that point is where Bop and I disagree. Is what they're making on that network more than what they're losing on the card? That's the question.
Well, it's not really for us to agree or disagree because we don't know.
No, exactly. No, this is all a game.
So, Shavizio, Wells Fargo lost money because you people weren't spending on bill cards. That was
Fair.
my point.
Well,
exactly.
actually, I'm pretty sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm pretty sure that there was a fixed deal that Bilt and Wells Fargo had, where for every Bilt card that was opened, Wells Fargo owed Bilt like X number of dollars, like $400 or something like that.
Yeah. Let me say this: Bilt, whether they're profitable or not, they are better negotiators than Wells Fargo.
1,000%.
Because them Wells Fargo people, if I ever want to get a sweet deal, they're the people to talk to because they made a bad deal.
It seems like Wells Fargo does 10,000 years of research before adding a transfer partner, but they did zero research before adding Bilt as a partner.
We don't know that they're doing 10,000 years of research. It could be they just can't get them.
That's true.
It could be Aeroplan just doesn't want Wells Fargo. You know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dim was 11 years at Citi. Remember I said
yeah.
Servizio Bilt already stated that most of their income comes from housing. The credit card business is like 15% of their business. 15%, Travis.
I could have sworn that was based on the accounts, not revenue.
Well,
15. I think that the correct statistic is 15% of accounts have a card. I think, but hey, I'm in a live. Y'all fact check me.
Charvizio says Bilt 2.0 has probably 50x more spend than Bilt 1.0.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yeah.
Dan, Bilt's business model is more B2B than B2C. Cards can run as a loss leader and they'll make up for it with their neighborhood experiences, property management, payment platform, high margin model.
I agree with you, Dem, but actually question to you, Bop and Dem, on your day-to-day spend, how much do you think you're getting in value from Bilt and their cards versus how much are you partaking in the actual network? Meaning, you know, the partners with real estate, the Bilt experiences, Bilt's dining network. I live in Austin. I've got Bilt dining all over the place. I eat. Do you see what I'm getting here? Like my common sense, even as somebody who lives in Austin, where I have access to a lot of this stuff, my common sense tells me there is a 0% chance they're making money on me.
Here's the thing. But this is the same thing across all of these financial circumstances. I'm not profitable to any of them. You're probably not either.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not profitable to any of them because I haven't paid a dime in interest in 25 years. I mean, I don't pay any interest. So that's what, I mean, honestly, Amex gives crazy. I mean, think about it. How does Amex give 4X for the person who just uses it for dining and grocery? And all of us gamers just use it for dining. I don't use it, but people who do, you only use it for dining and grocery. They're getting 4X on everything. They're not getting 4X on the swipe fees. They're losing money on that deal, but they're averaging it across all of the, you know, the people who carry a balance. The disciplined rule the world.
I agree with you. Again, question to you.
And they rule it on, I hate this. I mean, because I hurt for people and I want them to have better. I mean, I'm a Dave Ramsey lover, except for his credit card positions. And
I disagree with him on a lot.
He's got a few nutty positions, but I'm a believer in that because I want people to get ahead in life.
Me too.
But the deal is that the truth is that everybody who wins at this is winning on the backs of the people that, because of their own choices or life circumstances are all mixed together, are losing. It's a chessboard. It's a chess match.
I totally agree with everything that you said, but like, for instance, how many people do you know that have a Bilt card or even actually take the Bilt card out of it, even have a Bilt account that aren't gamers? Versus how many people do you know that have an Amex Platinum or Amex Gold that have literally no idea what they're doing? I know a majority of the people that I know that have a Gold or a Platinum have no idea what they're doing. No idea. Whereas Bilt, frankly, I only know two outside of this community that I've met through being in this community. I know, I think one person that has a Bilt card. And
I know four. I know 4.
Outside of people that you met here.
Yeah, I know 4 in my regular life,
Yeah.
and all 4 of them are not gamers, and they're not unprofitable to build
Interesting.
because they
Okay.
transitioned to the blue card or to the Obsidian from built 1.0.
And are they using
percent of their model, and then 20% of the people using it are using it hard? You start extrapolating those numbers, and I think
you have to, like, in my opinion, in order for you and Dem to be right, that 85% of people that don't have the card need to be hitting that network hard. And I guess, actually, dumb question. How do you? Oh no. So most people that don't have the built card would have to sign up with a built account and attach all their credit cards. Dude, I don't think it's profitable. I don't know. I don't know. But sorry, we've been stuck in this for a while.
Travis, though, we love it, so don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, man.
Yep.
Okay. Christine Garcia, you work well together. I'm enjoying your show. Thank you for that.
Hey, that's awesome.
Thank you. We enjoy it. Nick, banana farmers thrived under Wells Fargo built.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bananas for me. It was cups of soup. You know, the little ones that you put water in?
Mm-hmm.
For 67 cents at Walmart.
I had a mortgage. I couldn't take advantage.
Yeah, I had a rental house with a mortgage that was Wells Fargo.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a workaround where you could pay a mortgage that was Wells Fargo.
Anthony Venture also had a workaround that, frankly, I should have been on board with you guys. I should have been taking advantage of it, but hey, you live in your life.
It worked really easy with Wells
That was
Fargo.
a learning lesson, Bob.
Yep, that's right. You learned something there.
Mm-hmm.
Sleepy Rod, when does Atmos Members Day drop? I thought it was monthly discounted prices. Now, you're the expert on that.
That's a good question, Sleepy Rod. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was actually wondering about that recently. I don't have the answer, but I have my eye out on that.
Okay, I'm going to burn through some comments because we got so many on here. So I'm going to burn through them. Built is like crypto. You can come out ahead, but it's sketchy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see.
That's a good comment. Dem, Anchor, and Kerr have said numerous. Oh, oops, I dropped it. Anchor and Kerr have said numerous times that cards make up about 10% of their income statement. They go public and release their financials. I'll do a deep dive. That would be very well appreciated, Dem. Source King, Wells Fargo lost a lot of money. Yes, they did, because they are bad negotiators.
Terrible.
They signed a bad deal. Coral, Coder, excuse me. If they're losing money on every single swipe, though, more volume is bad for them. No. Yeah, but I think they're trying to lure people into the ecosystem more. It's what my impression is. Chad Harmon's here and says, hey, guys, one of the many Chads. L-Man Gaming, more volume is better because that's more people using more money and more chances people will pay interest. Yeah, and I think we discount how many people pay interest.
I agree with you. I do think that I completely forget about that, because for you and I, and thank the Lord, most of the people that are watching right now, y'all are responsible. I think that we as a group, all of us, sort of tend to forget that there are people. The number of it's so sad, man. I'll hop in. Recently I hopped in an Uber and this girl was driving a very, very nice brand new car, and I complimented her on it. Sorry, do we have time for like a little side thing?
Sure.
I complimented her on her vehicle, and she said, oh yeah, like I got it new. And I'm very transparent about finances. I'm very open about all that stuff. And I asked her, if you don't mind me asking, like, how much is this car? She said that she had spent $60,000 because her previous one broke down, and that she's really stressed about debt. So then we started talking about that, because my background is like personal finance, it's investing, it's that sort of stuff. And she got on to talking about how she's got, like, I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000 in credit card debt, and she's driving Uber full time. And it's one of those scenarios where you forget that there are people that fall prey to those sort of business models. And she fell prey to even, like, a sleazy salesman that sold her on the idea of driving a brand new car for $65,000 whenever she's driving Uber. It is, yeah.
Unpopular opinion, but I don't think car debt is good debt. I mean,
Car debt.
just,
I agree. I agree.
I don't borrow unless there's a 0% and I got the cash. Done that. 0%. Bought Nona a car one time. 0% had the cash to pay for it. I just put it in it was yielding 5% at the time, high yield. So I got paid 5% to buy that car because I.
How did you find a 0% loan on the car?
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's
48 months, 0%. Had the cash, put it in high yield,
I would
pay it out of that
say-
account, and I'm earning like $100 and something a month in interest. But so, I mean, that's where I differ with Dave Ramsey. He's like, well, if somebody would loan me $1 billion at 0 interest, I wouldn't take it. Well, that's dumb.
That's insane.
That's dumb.
That is
if somebody loaned me $100 million at 3% interest, I'd take it in a second, and I'd make more than 3% on that. And clear. So all debt's not bad, but debt on a depreciating asset.
I totally agree. I know. You're preaching to the choir, man.
CJ, and I'm speaking from experience because we drove old, beat up, rundown cars to save up to be able to buy cars cash. So now we still make a car payment to ourselves. Let me tell you, it works. Once you get on the back end of that deal and that car, you own it every single time. Well, it's easy. If you want to sell it, you sell it. You got the cash, you go buy cash for another one. You're borrowing from yourself, and the interest rate is really good.
My wife deserves it. Congratulations. She wasn't necessarily the most financially savvy when I met her. They did like the worst of the worst. They leased a car and then purchased it outright with debt. So, like, if you understand the mechanics of all that,
you're paying like 11 years on a car,
and it was a brand new lease. Just literally the worst way to.
And you got 275,000 miles on it when it's paid for.
And I told her outright when but she's paid it all off. She officially paid it off this month. So you got to give her kudos.
Good deal. Oh wait, I missed this one. CJ says, afternoon. Are you both going to Charleston? I'll be there.
I'll be in Finland. So, yeah.
Finland over the creator meetup? You are a creator.
To be honest with you, I'm so disconnected. I actually didn't realize that there was a meetup until when Anthony and I did our live. I didn't realize there was one until we met. So, unfortunately.
Well, we'll miss you. If anybody wants your autograph, I'll sign for you.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That is not what these things are about. That is not what these things are about. I'm just being funny. Stephen Baker, I just wish Bill was a Visa so I could use it at Costco. Yeah, I get that. Christine says, do you think Bill will have a business card? I would think probably someday.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either. Dem, there's work around Stephen Baker. Okay. He's talking about for Costco. Stephen Baker, Dem, yeah, but I like keeping things simple. I can understand that for sure. Kale Mary says, Rich Carey said less than 10% have a built card. Richard Kerr, I think Mary means. Less than 10% have a built card. Most just know it as a rent payment processor.
Okay? And I think that's why actually earlier on the stream I mentioned, if you look at their job postings, and then if you want to get started after this, Bob, if you look at their job postings, a ton of what they're looking for are people that can build those relationships, because I think that's how they reach profitability. They need more of these properties agreeing to paying higher commissions to gain profit.
Yeah. So you want to get into our?
Let's do it. Oh, actually, Pangsicle asked us about Silo. Do we want to talk about that before getting started?
Silo? I don't know anything about that. I'm not going to try to sell. I've looked at it. I think you know about it, but I just don't. How many people are going to have $1 million to put in there? That's the thing for me.
And they don't yet have transfer partners.
No, they don't.
And I'm always careful whenever there's a brand new company. And I'm not saying that they're not reputable. Absolutely not. What I am saying is that they haven't yet established their transfer partners. And you know how these startups can be with promises. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing such a strong push, and they're doing it through our community. I don't know. It's just it's a really strong push. So,
And I can understand that. If I was the head of a startup, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But
all right, 50x times 5 bananas is like $50. So so it's more like 1500x. All right, let me stop there and let's get into the first one. Lessons learned. So you share yours. Mine are all couched in mistakes I've made. So I've learned lessons from them. So I'll let you throw out one.
So the first one is just kind of like a weird little one. It's not big and meaningful like some of the other ones that I'm going to be talking about. But I guess it kind of loops into a travel story. When Danny and I were traveling through China, and I had mentioned this on the previous live if anybody watched it, but when we were traveling through China, I had booked all of our flights to and from and inside of China were booked via points and miles. One of them was actually booked via Delta points because I had Delta points available. And ironically enough, it was the best deal. And it was at like 1.7 cents. And if anybody, 1.7 cents for Delta is pretty solid. So I decided to take that deal and was with a airline called China Eastern. And this is a experience that I have never heard anyone mention. I guess that, and I mean, Bob, you and I talk about how some of these partners, they have terrible websites. Just clear, just like their technical side just is not good. China Eastern was that way. And frankly, the learning lesson here is we walk up to the counter and I show them, because I couldn't check in on the China Eastern app, which was not surprising, terrible interface and everything. But then I show them my Delta reservation and they're very confused. Keep in mind, they only speak Chinese. They're Mandarin. And they're talking back and forth and there's a lot of confusion. And after like 10 minutes, we were using Translate and I realized the flight had been canceled for over 3 months, but Delta was never notified. Their system didn't register. It had not existed. It didn't exist and it hadn't existed for months, but Delta didn't know. And China Eastern, I guess, didn't communicate it somehow. So number one, there's a lot of lessons there, but the ultimate frustrating thing was whenever I reached out to Delta and I'm telling them I am literally in front of the people from China Eastern, this flight does not exist and has been canceled for months, they would not believe me because their system said that it was going to take off and they would not help me. They said that the best that they could do was refund me my miles. And that was all they could offer. So at that point, I could tell you all about the story about how we dealt with that. We got it ironed out, but at the end of the day, complications can happen when you're traveling, and one of which can be with some of these airlines where the technical side of what they do is not savvy. Things like what I experienced could happen. So random, but
sounds very stressful. That's kind of a mistake turned into a lesson learned. Mm-hmm. Okay, mine is, I just booked at 110,000 points Philippine Airlines one way to Hong Kong from LA. Okay, I have the Atmos Summit card. What did I fail to use?
Repeat this. I was reading a comment.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I booked with Atmos
mm-hmm.
the Philippine Airlines business class to Hong Kong for 2 people, 110,000 points each, 220,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I just paid for it and they dropped 220,000 points out of my account. This was last week. Yeah. And I have the Summit card. So what does that mean? I also have a 25,000 point.
The companion pass. Did you forget to apply it?
I most certainly did. And so
well,
I don't know. I might cancel it, rebook it. I don't know.
Especially because the last time that I was reading about it, I didn't look in. That there was 4 business class seats available on a lot of these flights. You cancel and
I haven't yet, but I'm not overly worried about it because I'll find something else to use it on. But the lesson learned is just think about all your stuff.
Yes,
because I have spreadsheets and stuff that tell me everything I need to use, and I check them off as I go through the year or the month or the week or whatever. And It's like, I didn't even look at that sheet. I mean, how dumb is that? So, yeah, that's mine. And how many do you have, by the way? Because I might need to double up.
Oh, I have unlimited.
Okay,
Frankly.
you got a lot of them, so we're good. All right, let me go back to some comments and just burn through some real quick.
Yeah,
Jim
absolutely.
says, take a look at who these investors are. Mostly large rental companies and private equity firms tied to real estate.
Yeah.
They've got their tentacles in the largest real estate communities in the U.S. Okay. Source King, don't trust anything Built says about their finances.
That's something else that has gone through my head, but
okay. I don't know. Seems like there's a little disagreement between Source King and Dem. That's fine. They recently mentioned that 1 in 5 rental communities are using their payment. Oh,
which if that is true, like, well, we need to skip over the Built stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. We need to get to some of the other conversations, but with the 1 in 5, like what percentage of that 20% are going through like Built's actual processing? Or like, I don't know if they're separate. Like, are they actually going through Built's processing where they're earning a commission, or is it one of those things where they're mailing a check because they don't make money there?
Right.
So, yeah.
Chad says, "Is it me or is the internet choppy?" Mine's really smooth. Is yours working smooth?
Both of ours have been smooth on my end.
Okay. Jay Kelsey, they have UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage.
They do.
Using the mortgages too, right? That's true, and I'm sure they're getting a kickback on that. Coder says Amex said that people basically just use MR points for Amazon and gift cards, so that 4x is closer to like 2.5. Not for gamers, not for people playing.
Not for gamers, yeah.
Dem,
and they were earning 1%. Sorry, and with the platinum, people are using 1%, like getting 1% at their restaurants. So yeah.
Okay, Coder, I assume Bill gets a lot of blue signups from apartment complexes, probably. That's the cheap card. So Stinky Monkey, hey guys, good to have you here, Stinky Monkey baby, best name on YouTube. How comfortable are you leaving your Built points with Built? After Mesa, I'm balancing that with transfer bonuses. When I hit 100,000, I transfer 50 of them out.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not too worried. Don't get me wrong, I am firmly in the stance, obviously, of them not being a super profitable company, but I'm not too worried about it yet.
Yeah. Dim says, please hit the like button. Thank you. Only 18 have liked. We got 70 people in here, so we could use a higher percentage of that. So if y'all don't mind to do that, maybe more people will come. Coder says, poor Joe Barretto. Okay.
What?
I'm not sure what that's about.
I hope he's okay. Prayers out.
I think his is coming up after ours in a little bit. So maybe that's what that's referencing.
Oh, gotcha.
Gentleman Explorer, hard to get actual financials until they go public and nobody rushes to IPO anymore. Yeah. So it'll be hard to tell.
God forbid we're talking about FTX right now.
Blanca says, wasn't Wells Fargo also covering the 3% transaction for everyone's rent payment? I think they were. I think they're not good at negotiating. That's my point.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Good job, Bianca. I totally forgot about that.
What do you guys think of silo investments? We just kind of addressed that a little bit. Or did we? I think we did. Yeah, we did.
It's just a short little thought.
Yeah. Source King, I have 24-hour layover in Finland on Labor Day. Oh, cool. Kale, Mary, silo is sketchy. I wouldn't trust them with my retirement.
Fair.
I mean, real money, yeah. It's different than points to me.
I think that they are in their defense. I think they've got some sort of like certification. I think it's like, I don't think it's FDIC. I think that's the wrong one. They've got some sort of government.
SIPC, probably.
SIPC, that's what I was looking for.
Yep. Big Kev is here. Good to have you, Big Kev. We know that booking direct is the easiest. I book direct China Southern, and I can't add any loyalty number.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It sounds like Avianca. Would you be better to book through AA or bank portal for points at least? Yeah. Can't add a number to it. Crazy. First level and even superior level customer service is essentially helpless and useless when things go off script. I don't even think Centurion Concierge could help you get a refund at that point.
I don't even think that, from what I can tell from like all of Calbee, keep in mind, I don't have a Centurion card, so I'm speaking from ignorance here. But man, from what people have put out, I don't feel like Centurion Concierge is that great anyway.
I mean, I don't ever use concierge really.
Me either. I'm a better planner than they are.
The Boozy, appreciate y'all's content. Excuse me. I've learned so much, and it helped me book my first big redemption to Spain while we were playing in the World Cup. Yay,
dude! That's awesome, man.
That's a great encouragement. We appreciate it.
So happy for you, dude.
N3, any opinion regarding Amex adding IHW as a new transfer partner?
Any opinion about
international
LHW? Yeah,
leading hotels of the world. Yeah.
Do we? That is a rabbit hole, Bop. What are you thinking here?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to hotels. You know.
Okay. Just really high level thoughts on it. I think it's a very good partner. They're weirdly consistent as far as cent per point. You think that the 1-to-4 ratio is bad. I think it's pretty solid. There are a couple catches. I think that the third one, frankly, I didn't mention my video because frankly there was no information on it. So I'll get to that one in a second. Number one, the footprint is not huge. Number two, the footprint is mostly international, meaning if you're a domestic traveler, it's just not going to be a helpful partner for you. There are some here in the US, but it's not extensive. And then the third is the only thing that I didn't mention in my video about it. They include in a lot of cases taxes and fees, but this is so frustrating. They don't show the taxes and fees until you have the points in your account, like enough to actually make the booking. But the way around that, and it's still a pain, you can call them, tell them where you're wanting to book, tell them your dates, and then they will tell you what the taxes and fees are, and you can calculate out if it's worth it.
Makes sense. All right, let's do our second one. Second one on my list, if I can get it to pull up here, is, okay, using a transfer partner I don't understand, which was Avianca. So I booked a United flight with Avianca, had to cancel, and didn't research enough to find out that in canceling, the cancellation fee was more than the flight was worth. So that was awful.
Was more than the flight was worth?
Well, it was a cheap flight, and it was like cancellation fee. I paid for it with points. I got back a few points, but I had to pay. It was just ridiculous. So yeah, not good.
Oh man, okay. That is bad. That is really bad. And I know that I was a defender of Avianca in our last video, but that's terrible. I have been there before.
Okay, you got another one?
So one of the ones that I really like, I think that Bop is going to roll his eyes because this mostly applies to economy. But my learning lesson is that I get outsized value from the partners that have like these like weird quarterly and monthly like flash sales. And I realize that that's only applicable to a certain type of person, people who have a lot of flexibility, who are willing to go kind of wherever, don't have a really strict work schedule. But I love the fact that, Alaska's the one on the top of everybody's mind where like there's, a flash sale for 2 days where you can get basically anywhere. Well, in the destinations they give you, you can get anywhere in the world for $300 or $400 worth of miles round trip. And with Delta,
it's not $400 worth of miles, Travis.
and then with Delta, we rag on Delta, and Delta points suck. But when those specials come around, like
they're good.
They're really good. They're really good. And then Singapore was on this list. I don't know if y'all saw. You have to transfer over 1,000 points over to. I'm making fun of the fact that I would have called that $10 worth of points. You have to transfer over points to see their availability. But nonetheless, like I like those specials. My learning lesson is like I've really been able to leverage these specials, and what the motivation is for these airlines to do this, I don't know, but I really like the ones that do it.
Very good. Sleepy Rod wanted us to move on to mistakes, so we are. Mm-hmm. Coder says Joe is currently carrying a balance on his bill for some home expenses.
Are you serious?
Guess so. Dem Silo back end is Interactive Brokers, highly reputable firm. Okay, that's good to know.
I figured.
Chad Harmon, I learned recently that Delta Airways makes more on their American Express partnership than any other airline cards. Yep. 1% of the GDP of the United States last year.
That is an insane statistic.
It's crazy. Pinch Pal, I'm looking forward to leading hotels of the world. If you can find a place to use it, it's meaningful because Amex MR are easier to gain. For example, Chase points or capital or 1 points, in my opinion. That's true. So, Amex, I will argue all day, are the easiest points to earn.
Totally.
Dem flying Avianca to
dude,
this month. Very cool.
Damn, you're gonna love it, man. In my opinion, assuming that you haven't been there, maybe you've already been there, but dude, I think Medellin is one of the most underrated cities on the planet. And
what country is that in?
Colombia.
Very cool.
Just
Sleepy Rod, big fan of Life Miles, have given me amazing value. They are good value. Just don't cancel them. The Pinch Pal. What kind of job do you and your player 2 have, Travis, that allows you to just drop everything and travel on these flash sales? PTO isn't that flexible, last minute, week long trips for mini trips.
Yeah, so I work fully remote, and it's a management consulting gig, but it's the job that I want. You know, it's not too much responsibility in the sense that I'm not traveling all the time. I probably travel for work once a month, somewhere around there. And as long as I dodge that trip, I'm pretty much good to go. And then my wife, her job isn't nearly as flexible, but with a lot of these deals that I'm booking via Alaska, you know, we're booking them. It won't even allow you to book them until like, you know, a couple months out. And as long as she gives her job a couple months heads up, they're okay with her taking the PTO as long as she has the PTO.
Yeah. In our case, Nona's job is totally remote, so she can work from anywhere.
Yeah, the dream is
to work from a beach anywhere. My job is really pretty flexible. So, Stephen Baker, I heard airlines make more on credit cards than their flights. That's what we said. That's absolutely true. Kale Mary, I'm more worried about Silos commissions. They're going to take some healthy management fees. Okay.
There's that. That's kind of my problem. Once you do the math on it, I don't think it's a no-brainer.
Right.
But I want to make, before I put all of my opinions out on it, I want to make sure that I can like do all of my research before I make a video. And yeah,
my player 2 is fully remote, but usually you can't work internationally. That limits travel. If your work is mostly email, you often can. I mean, it just kind of depends because Nona, we've had that experience too. And so, yeah, the calls she can't do, but a lot of times the email or the computer stuff she can. So
I'm very lucky that my new job, my company is very IT heavy, and I would argue a little too IT heavy. But one thing that they are flexible about, you can work internationally. You just have to give them a heads up about it.
All right, let's. I think we caught up on comments. We got 75 in here. That's pretty awesome. So hit the thumbs up if you haven't done that. Thank you so much. So let's get to some more lessons learned. What do you got?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually interested to see if you'll identify with this or not, because you don't find great value in hotels, but just because you get high cent per point on a hotel redemption doesn't necessarily mean you're getting great value. And one of the reasons that I mentioned that, I think I've told y'all, I travel via Airbnb all the time. I heavily favor Airbnb. And like a lot of times when I'm looking up, especially if you're doing what most people do, which is, okay, how much does that individual hotel cost? How much did I use? How many points did I use to make the hotel redemption? If you actually look at like, you know, an equivalent of what you want with Airbnb, a lot of times you can find just as good a value for significantly less. And as somebody who deeply cares about like the air quote reality of the value that I'm getting from from my points, I realize that a lot of people disagree with my viewpoint there. Totally fine. A lot of times I look up and think, I think I'd rather just book an Airbnb versus booking a hotel with points. I'm going to save those points for a flight.
Yeah, I don't book Airbnbs because I can't use all my ridiculous hotel credits at Airbnb.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not jealous. So many creators, and I am one of very, very few creators who do not have too many paid cards, and it does make my life a lot easier. I will say.
Yeah, for mine, I'm going to wrap several into one, and these are food lessons learned when traveling. Okay. So number one, when I was in school, we had a lot of international students, and we had a chili cook-off. Okay. Well, Bop, as most people on here know, likes things like Taco Bell, so you can imagine chili is right up my alley. I love chili. So I went to the chili cook-off, didn't cook any chili. I was going to sample all the chilies. And the last chili in the was made by a couple guys from South Africa.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so weird, because why would anybody make chili filled with little smokies? You know what little smokies are?
Oh, were those like the little sausages?
Yep. Right? And I like the little smokies. Usually,
I loved those things as a kid.
Nona cooks them for church potlucks and stuff, and they got
love those
little toothpicks in them, and you dip them in barbecue sauce type thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I was on my second bowl, and I didn't notice that nobody else was eating this chili until somebody comes up and says, "You are so brave and so nice to eat that." And I'm like, why? I mean, it's good chili and it's little smokies. Those aren't little smokies. Those are caterpillars. Apparently, when you cook them little suckers, all the hair falls off of them. You're speechless, Travis.
Okay, I actually have many stories about that. So it's not that I'm like, oh my God, you ate a caterpillar. Unfortunately, I
ate 2 bowls of caterpillars.
But what I don't understand is you were like in Mississippi, U.S.
I was going to school in Texas at the time, but we had
still Texas. Oh,
they were foreign students. They were from South Africa, and their mother had sent them a jar, apparently, of caterpillars.
I have so many. A couple of my best buddies. One's from Rwanda. Another one's from Nigeria. And my buddy doesn't watch this, so I have no risk here. He used to cook for us, and he would make like Nigerian food is very oil heavy. And whenever I say it's like half vegetable oil, no offense to any Nigerians that are watching, but it is a little too oil heavy for me. And on top of that, they love tripe, and he would make tripe in his meals all the time. Have you ever had tripe before?
Yeah.
It is not my thing. And I am open. Y'all know I am willing to eat basically whatever if it means a cultural experience. That's what I enjoy. I cannot do it. And I will say caterpillars is probably up there with tripe, man.
So the second one was I've only had Montezuma's Revenge bad one time. I was in Ethiopia on a church mission trip. Okay. Ethiopia. And we're staying in tents out near Awassa, which is a village, a town way out. And we're in a village, and we're staying in tents. I mean, I can hear hyenas at night. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're staying in tents, and this little minister of the local church, to all of us who were there from the States, his wife made a chicken in a crock pot, like with, I don't know, some kind of red sauce in there, whatever. It smelled really good. And he brings it to us, and there's a language barrier. We didn't have phones that would translate and all that back then. So there's a language barrier, but he wants us to, his wife made it for us. And I don't know what that chicken cost him, but it was probably a significant portion of his weekly income,
Yeah.
It was very nice of him, because this is a very impoverished place where we are. He hands us this, and the local missionary, the American who lived there, said, "Do not eat that. Do not eat that." But I was traveling with a medical doctor from the U.S. who was also on our mission team.
The crockpot.
He said, "Oh no, this is hot enough. It's perfectly safe. I mean, it's killed any bacteria or anything. It's perfectly safe." So what I learned in that was always go with the guy on the ground, regardless of the credentials of the other person.
I 100% agree with you.
Because that medical doctor and we were sick for 3 days. And we had to travel on Ethiopian roads, which the potholes are just horrendous.
Yeah.
For like a 4-hour trip the next day, sick as a dog, bouncing like this.
Oh, dude. I
I have never wanted I mean, I had a wife at home and babies at home, and I was like, I have life insurance. Maybe I should just go on. I mean, it was that bad. I mean, that bad. So lesson learned.
Dude, that reminds me. I remember one of the many examples of me getting food poisoning was at the tail end of my trip to India, and I was on the plane and I was already feeling bad, and it was so obvious that the flight attendant asked me if I needed to leave the plane before takeoff because of the way that I looked. I ended up spending, and you're talking about a flight from India to the United States. That was a long flight. And I had I had what you described on a plane for that long. It was awful, 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 awful. So are we into travel stories? I love this stuff.
I got lessons learned.
Endless.
Sometimes travel stories have lessons learned. Let me get a couple more comments and then we'll.
Yeah, go ahead.
PMart, I got several emails from Delta and AA about experiences, thinking this is like Viator or the airlines portals. Yeah, but I think you're going to get a lot more return with Viator if you use Rakuten or AA shopping or something like that.
But I imagine you'll get, if they'll allow you to book these things with cash, I mean, there might be some reward to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, with that new executive card refresh, there's going to be, I'm going to slam that deal, that $250 twice a year on experiences. By the way, my opinion now, and yesterday I kind of talked about it a little bit in my live, but I just seen it. But now that I've kind of molded over and applied it to my life, it's a lot better card. It's
definitely a much better card than it was.
I get reimbursed for travel, from consulting and things. And so I'm just going to book my hotel and car together, get $250 back and get reimbursed for the whole thing. I mean, it's easy.
Yeah.
Still love Amex, LHW points for stays. Yep. I mean, I think they're very valuable, as is stated. Chad Harmon giving us the emojis. Penspal, you guys stick with established sit-down restaurants or dining places or more local and street food? I stick with the place that's not going to make me sick, that I feel assured of that. Travis will eat in a back room from some sketchy dude who is in a trench coat. He says, food.
but on the real, I'm going to be honest with you. What I figured out, because I have a lot of experience with this, I go to some very off the beaten path places. Frankly, you are no safer, and I will die on this hill. You are no safer as far as food poisoning if you're spending more money. It does not make a difference. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that too far. I know that what many of y'all are thinking, well, you're spending 50 cents on something. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about, like, if there's somebody who's, a street vendor and they're clearly cooking something on an ultra hot stovetop, you're most likely fine. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The problem is when you go to these restaurants where you're spending a lot, you don't see what's going on in the back. And really good example, one of the food poisonings that I got was at one of I think it was the nicest restaurant I have ever eaten at. Like, they're taking out they're designing their food basically. I got some of the worst food poisoning I've ever had in my life from that place. You have to use common sense and only eat things that have to be cooked, boiled, or heavily steamed.
I go every year for work to Guatemala, and I stay in the American zone at Las Americas, which is a nice hotel. And they are double filtered, and they tell you that their water's double filtered. To me, Travis, the weakness of what you're saying is that if you go to places that are higher end, it's not so much the food, it's the water.
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. And at the end of the day, how is that water entering your food? So my point is, for example, whenever they're in the back and you're at a nice restaurant, they just finished washing dishes. Keep in mind, even a little bit in these really bad places, and frankly, Mexico is up there with some of the worst of the worst as far as food poisoning. A lot of times they will finish washing. They won't let it fully dry. They will pour, if you get soup, they'll pour it right in the bowl that they just finished washing that still has a little bit of water in it, and then you're cooked.
You know what's funny? I talked about Ethiopia. I ate in some restaurants in some villages. A restaurant is a very generous way of looking at it,
Yeah.
but that had no electricity. So they had no refrigeration, dirt floors, thatch roof. Okay. I've eaten in many restaurants like that. Never got sick once. You know why? Only ordered fried food. Period.
That's what I'm describing. That's what I'm describing. And would you
drank a Coke out of a bottle?
Yeah. Would you describe it as fancy? Absolutely not. Do they have like the normal things that we would describe as sanitary? No. They cooked it,
but if you only ordered the fried food at the nice place, you wouldn't get sick either.
Well, that's true. That's my whole point. It doesn't matter how nice it is. That's my whole point.
Okay, I may actually concede on this one because that's the thing is that
I have
the
a
water
PhD.
is so sketchy. It's the water. A salad. Do not eat a salad in a third world country.
No, it's a terrible idea.
Don't eat fruit. Don't eat vegetables. Eat things that at home you think is going to give you a coronary. Eat that stuff in third world countries. It's safe.
I do want to share some of my stories. I guess I'll start with like just India. Oh my God. So one of the experiences, number one, if anybody's been to India, like you have basically a traffic jam solely caused by cows, which is always interesting. And we were in this area called Rishikesh, and there's this big river. It's over the Ganges River. And the entire traffic of the town is dependent on this one bridge, and one cow will decide that it's going to stop in the middle of it, and everything halts. And actually, when I was there, I was eating my breakfast, and knowing me, it was a very quality, high-end breakfast. Keep in mind, there's no brands, there's no points, that doesn't exist. But I was staying at this hotel, and I walked away from my food, amateur mistake, and I come back, and a monkey had stolen my entire plate of food, and there were remnants of the toast that I was eating all the way down the hallway and all the way up the stairs. I got plenty. Oh, and so in another place that I would find, actually, Bop, before I get to it, what country, have you been to any countries where you thought, you know what, great that I went, but I'm not going to go back? What countries come to mind?
I don't know.
Or are you allowed to say?
I mean, I would go back to Ethiopia if the right circumstance, but I wouldn't go back on vacation. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I go back to try to help those folks, and you know, our group dig wells and work with their orphanages, and man, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I'll go anywhere for humanitarian or religious.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go anywhere for that. So it's kind of hard. But as far as on vacation, I did not like Switzerland very much.
That's surprising.
It was $48 for 2 hot dogs and a water at a hot dog vendor.
I was very aware of that, but it surprises me that you wouldn't go. Like I guess that could ruin it. I guess that
I'm cheap, and it just was like I'm always evaluating value, and not that I'm cheap. I mean, I'll eat at a fine, expensive restaurant if I feel like I get my value from it. I don't love France either. Because I was starving to death in France because I order an expensive meal and I got 2 scallops and 3 asparagus spears. And I'm like, I want some chicken fried steak again, a big plate. You know, I mean, it's like, so the food experience matters to me. And it was, and France just was, Paris seemed dirty to me. And the subway was like, eesh.
It's so funny. That's why that France is one of the few like major stereotypical destinations that I haven't made it to there. And I would probably say Greece. But I've heard that about France, and that's so funny. I guess I was surprised. The Switzerland surprised me. Switzerland thing surprised me. They're like, with a lot of countries around the world, it feels like there is a stereotype of, oh, this is a travel friendly country, and this is not a travel friendly country. And I cannot. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I cannot tell you how many countries I have been to where people would say, man, are you sure you want to do that? It's unsafe. Or oh, man, are you sure you want to do that? They hate Americans. Or, oh, man, are you sure you want to do that? I've heard blah, blah, blah. And then there's the opposite. And I think one of the countries that has a great reputation and probably should not. Oh, let's see. I guess, friends. It probably should not, in my opinion, is Egypt. It has a great reputation. It feels like people just don't really bat an eye whenever you go to Egypt. And I would argue that is not a travel-friendly country
No, it's their culture. Their culture's not welcoming.
It was my least favorite culture. When you say like strong salespeople, whenever you go to Mexico, when you go to Peru, whenever you go to, I could name 1,000 different countries where.
And it's not because it's a Muslim culture, because there are other. Abu Dhabi and Dubai are awesome. I mean, they're awesome. So it's not and they're very Muslim culture. So it's not about that.
No,
it's
Egyptian culture. It is Egyptian culture.
Yeah.
The sales are so aggressive. I kid you not. There was this guy on a horse. There's a million examples, but one of this guy followed us for the better part of 10 minutes, 3 blocks. And I'm usually relatively polite. I give them the wave, no, thank you. Don't make eye contact, what you're supposed to do in those situations. This guy would not take no for an answer. He followed us for 3 blocks to try to ride his horse. And it was to the point where I'm literally looking at this guy like in the eyes. I am never going to ride your horse. This is never going to happen. You're wasting your time. You're wasting my time. This is never going to happen. Would not give up. The other, I had a tour guide, and this is going to blow people's minds. Nice guy, but also really, really salesy. As we were going along, we were talking about family and, stereotypes of the U.S. because everybody feels very free in talking about the U.S., but you got to be polite about their country. But the point was this guy, I was talking to him, and I was talking about how at the time I was single. And then he started talking about his wife. He was married to his cousin.
My family's all from Kentucky. That's not that odd. No offense, anybody from Kentucky. I love it back in Kentucky, but
it was.
People say that about Mississippi and Arkansas and everywhere.
In Arkansas, not in Arkansas. In Egypt, there are no rules. There's no nothing. It is whoever you're talking to at the time. That is the rule that flies. Like that is how that works. And another example. At the time, you needed a COVID test to even fly home, and this guy comes in. And I need a COVID test. We're paying a premium to get this COVID test. And I'm sure that I got the gringo price. And he comes in, he swabs me, he leaves, he comes back almost immediately and he says, "Oh yeah, you're good." And he asks me, "What date do you want me to put on here?" So basically, number one, there was no COVID test. He had an official document that I had to give to the airline and it worked perfectly fine. But it was very obvious. There was no structure. He literally asked me, "What date, any date, do you want me to say you got this test?" I could literally tell him a year from now, and he would have put that on the piece of paper.
It's pretty sketchy.
It just
the other place I would go back to Germany. I like Germany, but Berlin once was enough. And I'm a history guy, so I loved all the World War II stuff. But that's a pretty dirty city too.
And on top of that, there's not, despite it being the home of everyone knows of a lot of history, there's not a lot of that history is not around anymore. There's a lot related to the Holocaust, but as far as World War II war history, there's not. I don't know if you noticed, there's not as much as you would expect.
Yeah, James says, "Told you yesterday the executive changes. I like them too."
One of my regrets from my most recent video, because I didn't want to put that out there. I as soon as I filmed it, and I told my wife this, I wish I had harped on if that $250 credit works for you, and especially if you have like simple trips where you're literally wanting to go from A to B, you're going to stay in the same hotel, easy peasy. And I guess I went in the selfish direction of, did it apply to me? And those are trips that just wouldn't work for me. But yeah, I just figured I would put that out there.
I will say the street food and culture, the street food is culture in itself in Asia. 1,000%. It would be sad to avoid it. Well, in East Asia, at least, not confident on South Asia. Yeah, we plan on eating street food in Asia. I feel fairly confident of that. So. L-Man Gaming, Travis gets food poisoning on every trip. It's
almost, man, almost.
Travis. Chad Harmon, ever been sick on a plane and where in the Lou Long, the flight attendant was about you.
Was checking on you? Oh,
in
yeah.
The Lulu Long so long that the flight attendant was checking on you? Well, no. It's never
India
happened to
and
me,
Peru.
but yeah, that's pretty rough. Christian Z, I guess France and Switzerland are off the list because I like to eat. Yeah. Well, Switzerland gave you plenty of food. It just costs like a tremendous amount of money. I mean, for like simple food. It's like I think our we were in Switzerland, so we wanted to get the fondue. I think it was $70 for a boiling bucket of cheese. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it's very
Okay. I knew it was
very
expensive. I didn't know it was that expensive.
It is expensive. I mean, $48 for 2 hot dogs from a stand and one water that we shared. I mean, that's
absurd. That is absurd. Oh my gosh. Food poisoning, virgin upper class.
Upper class from
oh,
food
dude.
poisoning on virgin upper class. Wow. Sucking on ice cubes in the bathroom. That's awful.
I've been there, man. I've been there.
All right, our next one. Let's we're at 121. You want to do one more?
Yeah. I say we continue on. I hope it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, but yeah.
Okay. So the next one on my list. Okay. We did a positioning flight on our way earlier this year, over to Milan. We were flying the Emirates Fifth Freedom or whatever they call it from JFK to Milan. So we're excited about that. Well, I always like to make sure we have lots of time if we're doing a positioning flight. That's wise. So we love our lounges and stuff. So there's nowhere hardly in the world better to lounge hop than JFK. So no problem. But we did a positioning flight to LaGuardia, went into the AA lounge in LaGuardia, which is a very nice AA lounge. And then we got a black lane from airport to airport. No problem. But we get there about 5 hours before our flight, and we're just going to go in and, but the Emirates app wasn't working. So we had to get our boarding pass at the gate, at the, where they sell the boarding passes, where, check in, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the problem. It didn't open until 2.5 or 3 hours before the flight. We're sitting out there with no boarding pass, so we can't get past security to go into any lounges. So we're going to have to sit for like 3 hours out in the,
with the pores.
With the pores. In the hard seats. It's not even, out there, they don't have good seats at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes no seats. You're just standing around. And let me tell you, divorce dagger eyes from Nona. What have you done? Now, I worked it out. Not going to go into it here, but I found a way to get us past security. We went into the Amex Centurion Lounge for a couple hours, came back out, got our boarding pass, then went in again, and ended up going to the Emirates Lounge like 3 hours before our flight. But yeah, that was a mistake.
Frustrating.
Mm-hmm. So now I try to do positioning flights that get me airside. So that's the lesson learned.
I will say that's a really good lesson, and one, frankly, that thanks to you, I'm not going to have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
That's really good. Me next?
Yeah.
So this observation, what I have learned, and this depends on your strategy. If you have Anthony Venture's strategy of really gaining your points and miles through sign-up bonuses, it's kind of a different ball game. But if you're my strategy, where you're not super high spend, but you're not gaining all of your points and miles through sign-up bonuses, you're really relying on your spend, just maximizing multipliers. At the end of the day, I've heard a lot of people, and I understand why they do it. I don't agree if you're trying to get it through your multipliers, is that it is number one, it is much easier. Well, I've heard people describe that they will pick a card based on the destination that they're headed to. And for me, it is easier to get more value from my limited amount of points if I'm in a bunch of different ecosystems. So basically, at any one point, I have learned that I, number one, want to be in a bunch of different ecosystems. And number two, I want to be maximizing the multipliers that I get within those ecosystems. Because if I'm okay with going anywhere, I just need those points when the deals show up. So at the end of the day, my learning lesson, what I'm getting at here is that number one, I don't pick cards based on the destination. That never happens and really would not work well for my strategy. And number two, unlike a lot of the wisdom in this space, I actually disagree when people say stick with one ecosystem because like the partners align with each other. You can send all of your points to one partner. I actually don't. I don't agree with that. And whenever I don't have enough miles, I just simply pay in cash until I have enough miles for the next deal that I want to find. Hopefully that makes sense. There's a lot of moving parts to that lesson.
It does, but I would say though, Travis, that you would have a lot more points if you did more sign-up bonuses.
1,000%. And that's actually another thing that I was talking about, Anthony Venture.
Question: why don't you? Why don't you?
I don't have a logical explanation for that, and I just don't. I don't like the idea of having like 40 different cards that I'm applying for, throwing in a sock drawer, having to track whenever I have to downgrade it later. But the logical answer, I don't have one. I just don't like that side of the game.
Well, I will say this. Simplicity is a valid objective.
And that is...
But it is never the lucrative objective.
Yes, 1,000%.
I mean, simplicity is a valid thing. And when people say, well, I just want it to be simplified, I can respect that, okay? Because you're talking about something different. In other words, you're valuing your time, you're valuing not having to put in as much effort, whatever. And I respect that. But you can't ever argue that it's as lucrative.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Complex is always going to outperform simplicity. Always.
Sorry, my cat is yelling at me in the middle of the live. No, I totally agree with you. And that's why actually during that live, I was kind of explaining to Anthony, I don't have a logical reason as to why I don't do the sign-up bonus game. And you know what's funny is that I think that some people would argue if I was playing devil's advocate against myself, well, you have a bunch of different credit cards, so you're keeping track of a bunch of stuff anyway. But for me, it's not difficult. I mean, there's basically like 5 active cards that I use at any one time, 6 active cards that I use at any one time. And it's just like instinct right now. I don't have to keep up with anything, but I realized that, well, if you're doing a sign-up bonus, you only use one card, you get the sign-up bonus, and you move on. So,
well, I think it's objectives too. For me, this was a hobby before I ever did a video, and I like the complexity. I yearn for the complexity because it's a game, and I
yearn for the complexity of trip planning and travel planning. When it comes, I'm just looking for value. I'm looking for value.
Yeah, and it's a different objective, and I respect it and I get it. But I'm probably the only creator on here that phrases it this way because everybody calls it the points and miles game, but a lot of times people aren't playing it like a game.
Yeah.
I mean, in a game, I've played high-level strategy games my whole life. And in a game, you're thinking 8 moves ahead and you're trying to maximize everything you can for victory. And that's why I always say cents per point are our metric of victory. And that's so to me, I mean, if I never take the trip, I get a personal satisfaction by I don't know, sticking it to the man, kind of thing.
That's part of it for me too. I agree, but I guess you kind of are sticking it to the man if you open up a card, use them for their sign-up bonus, and move on. But still, and he's also one that doesn't really care. It was funny because him and I could not have more polar opposite viewpoints on things. He also did not. He clearly doesn't care that much about cent per point. That is not really something that he thinks about. And I'm not going to lie, I am totally the opposite. Granted, if I'm generating as many points from sign-up bonuses as he is, maybe I wouldn't care as much. But knowing my personality, I would still care.
I'm so opposite of that. I could call this channel Captain Cent Per Point or Captain.
yeah, I know.
I mean, because that is like everything in my world.
Yeah,
I get it. It's different objectives. That's what it comes down to.
It is different objectives.
My objective, to me, the travel is a great serendipity of the game. I mean, the travel is the trophy you get from winning the game. So,
For me, it's just a bunch of free travel. I just,
yeah.
yeah. And again, to your point, it's about objectives.
Yeah. Dim, one ecosystem allows for concentration with unique partners. I focus on 3 ecosystems and have a decent balance with each. Mainly leverage transfer bonuses these days to further optimize my redemption. Let me guess some, Dim. Build, City, and Amex. That's my guess.
That I would, and I totally agree, Dan. And that's another reason why I like to have a little bit of points in each ecosystem, because like it feels like anytime that I want to book through what I call the bread and butter partners, I think that you'll know what I'm talking about. You know, the Aviancas, the Avios, the Flying Blues. It feels like if you have a little bit of points in each ecosystem, there's a very good chance that there's a 30% transfer bonus from one of them. So, yeah.
All right, let's wrap up. Travis, we've gone an hour and a half, so let's let's wrap up some of these, and then if we have more, we can do another live down the road. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Cork J, I get that. I got my 3 or 4 cards and just stick it out, maximizing my earnings. So you're following Travis's pattern there. Official Chad's Money Minutes. Chad and I are going to be doing a live together really soon. I'm sure he's going to grill me about whether or not Comfort Plus is an upgrade or not. But bring it on, Chad. We'll talk about it, baby. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. One of the guys I respect the most in the space. He just speaks the truth from his heart.
Speaks from his heart.
Chad Harmon, simple isn't the most profitable. Meow. I like the meow at the end. That's pretty awesome. Dim says, what's up, Chad? And Cork J, also when card changes happen, it's not as much of a hit to me when they do. Like the Platinum is a lot easier if it's your only premium card. That's true. I feel the pain on that one. All right. Well, that's what we have on comments as of now. Let's see if there's a.
Oh, I think there's more. Are you not seeing?
Okay, I just didn't see the new comments button there. Elman, the rewards master versus I don't like free money master.
Yeah. I do. With you know what's funny is, again, I have no argument against me not going sign up bonus. I mean, it would be the better way to go.
Cork J, also, the best way to get more points is just making more money, investing and income. Yeah, there's an argument for that for sure. High spenders are gonna, whether you're doing one strategy, multipliers, or you're doing signups or a blend, because I do both. Whether you're doing any of those 3, spend is going to result in more signup bonuses too. So, and more multipliers. So yeah, that's absolutely the case.
Yeah.
Chad says, I stopped calling it a game a long time ago. People are playing with their financial lives in some cases.
Well,
that's true.
Slot machines, people are losing their shirts on that. Still called the game.
Yeah. And maybe some people shouldn't play games that they're not good at.
Yeah. I agree. And yeah, there's a lot of equivalents to that. I don't know.
Dem says bingo, RM. Agreed on something I said. So Kale Mary, not an upgrade. All right. We got one.
Yeah.
All right. Do you see any more comments? I don't see any more here.
Nope. I think that's it.
All right. Travis, thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much for your time.
This must be like the 10th one we've done, and we're going to do more. So
100%. I'll be seeing you in 2 weeks.
All right. Lots of fun. All right. Thank you, everybody. As far as I thought, we only got one gift tonight, and it was from Gentleman Explorer, $1.99. Thank you.
It's going straight to the Waldorf Fund.
It went straight to Travis's Waldorf Fund. It doesn't have to stay in Joe's Motel. Right. All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to wrap up tonight. Thanks for being here, and we will see you here next time.
See y'all.